Released in 1991, Terminator 2: Judgment Day completely changed action and science fiction movies forever. Directed by James Cameron, the film delivered groundbreaking visual effects, unforgettable action scenes, and emotional storytelling that audiences had never seen before. For many fans, Terminator 2 remains one of the greatest action films ever made. At the center of the story was young John Connor, the future leader of humanity, alongside Sarah Connor and the unstoppable T-800. The movie turned several cast members into global stars almost overnight. But now, 35 years later, where are the cast members today in 2026? And what really happened to the actor who played John Connor? Let's take a closer look at the cast of Terminator 2, then and now. Arnold Schwarzenegger returned as the legendary Terminator. By the early 1990s, Schwarzenegger had already become one of the biggest action stars in the world, but Terminator 2 elevated him to an entirely different level of fame. His performance mixed brutal action with surprising emotional moments, especially during his relationship with John Connor. The line, "Hasta la vista, baby," became one of the most famous movie quotes ever. After the film, Arnold continued dominating Hollywood through blockbuster movies before later entering politics and becoming governor of California. Even into his late 70s, he continued acting, training, and inspiring fans around the world. As of 2026, Schwarzenegger remains one of the most iconic action stars in movie history. Linda Hamilton shocked audiences with her transformation into the fierce and battle-hardened Sarah Connor. Compared to the first Terminator movie, Hamilton returned stronger, tougher, and far more intense. Fans admired the physical training and emotional depth she brought to the role. Behind the scenes, however, Hamilton also faced difficult personal struggles including anxiety and bipolar disorder, which she later discussed publicly. Despite stepping away from Hollywood for periods of time, she eventually returned to the franchise years later. Today, in 2026, Linda Hamilton is still admired as one of cinema's greatest female action stars. Edward Furlong became instantly famous as young John Connor. At only 13 years old, Furlong suddenly found himself one of Hollywood's biggest young stars. Fans loved his rebellious attitude, emotional performance, and chemistry with Arnold Schwarzenegger. After Terminator 2, he starred in several major movies during the 1990s and seemed destined for a huge Hollywood future. But behind the scenes, fame became extremely difficult for him. Over the years, Furlong struggled with substance abuse, legal troubles, addiction problems, and personal issues that repeatedly damaged his career. Many fans were heartbroken watching one of Hollywood's brightest young stars slowly disappear from the spotlight. Although he later attempted comebacks and appeared at fan conventions, his life took a very different path than many expected after Terminator 2. As of 2026, Edward Furlong is still alive and continues making occasional appearances connected to the franchise that made him famous. Robert Patrick terrified audiences as the liquid metal assassin T-1000. His cold stare, relentless pursuit, and emotionless performance created one of the most unforgettable villains in movie history. To prepare for the role, Patrick trained intensely so he could run faster and move more mechanically than ordinary humans. After Terminator 2, he built a long and successful acting career in movies and television. Today, he remains highly respected among action and sci-fi fans. Joe Morton portrayed Miles Dyson, the scientist unknowingly helping create Skynet. His emotional storyline became one of the movie's most powerful moments. Morton later continued acting successfully in television, film, and stage productions. As of 2026, he remains active in Hollywood. Earl Bone returned as Dr. Silberman. His skeptical attitude toward Sarah Connor added both tension and dark humor to the story. Sadly, Earl Bone passed away on January 5, 2023, at the age of 81 after battling lung cancer. Fans remembered him as one of the franchise's most recognizable supporting actors. Jeanette Goldstein portrayed John Connor's foster mother. Although her screen time was limited, her scenes became unforgettable because of the terrifying T-1000 impersonation sequence. Goldstein later stepped away from acting and focused more on business ventures. Xander Berkeley played Todd Voight. His comedic but short-lived scenes became memorable among fans of the movie. Berkeley later continued a successful television career for decades afterward. Danny Cooksey portrayed John Connor's friend Tim. After appearing in Terminator 2, Cooksey later became successful in voice acting and animation projects. More than 3 decades later, Terminator 2: Judgment Day is still considered one of the greatest sequels ever made. Its action scenes, emotional storytelling, groundbreaking visual effects, and unforgettable characters helped redefine blockbuster filmmaking forever. For many fans, the movie represented the peak of 1990s action cinema. And in 2026, audiences still continue discovering the legendary cast that made Terminator 2 a timeless masterpiece.